The world is changed. I feel it in the water. I feel it in the air. I smell it in the air. Much that once was is lost. For none now sing who remember it. It began with the steady depletion of Earth's natural resources in the 20th century. Overpopulation, pollution, and an imbalance in economic gain led the nations of Earth to mistrust each other and engage in war over fresh water, often utilizing methods that only added to the world's environmental problems. With the dawning of the 21st century, the world finally realized that it needed to come together as a single unit in order to save the dying planet. As it was, the rainforests were deserts, the air was poisoned, and Carrot Top was still doing AT&T collect call commercials. One man rose up in this dark time, a man by the name of Harold Balzac, who carried with him the promise of a better existence for our troubled world. He began a vigorous campaign to unify the nations of Earth with a solar hydrogen-based economy, and was elected the first president of the world in the year 2010. President Balzac and his wife Marie set out to solve the world's problems one by one. The largest and most imminent crisis was that of the Earth's oceans. All oceanic life became extinct after having heavy metals and POPs, persistent organic pollutants, dumped into them for decades. Going to the beach became a punishment for insolent children. The president was at a loss as to how best to solve the oceanic dilemma. He thought if only there was some sort of alien race who survived on the pollution we have poisoned the oceans with, they could feed on the pollution and save us all. The peoples of Earth agreed that a garbage-slurping alien race would be convenient, but where would they ever find one? The letter was from Empress Bezeldra of the Okeans, an alien race that is 1/3 human, 1/3 piranha, and 1/3 bee. The Okeans' Jupitonian moon had cooled to an unbearable temperature, rendering it unfit for life. Their only chance for survival was to take refuge in Earth's oceans, as they could not survive outside of water. Along with being the right temperature, the oceans offered up a veritable smorgasbord of delights for the pollution-eating Okeans. The president's prayers had been answered. He invited Bezeldra and her people for an extended dip. The Okeans arrived a few months later and immediately began building their underwater homes. The Empress took up residence in Atlanteoke, a palatial hive her drones constructed for her. As soon as they were settled, Bezeldra ordered her Okeans to begin feeding. The people of Earth rejoiced in their good fortune and were happy to live with their new alien friends. Little did they know what their new friends were up to under the sea.
Don't just stand there, you fools! Get out there and start eating some garbage! This ocean is full of it, so pig out! Binge and purge, do you hear me? Binge and purge! Once I drink the honey, the healthy honey, I'll be queen over all of this world and its pathetic creatures. The world will sing! It will sing loud and it will sing long, for that is my wish. My wish is Earth's command.
The Empress liked to sing a lot, and for weeks she had sat in her chambers learning all that she could about planet Earth by watching a tiny box which projected images and sound. The box showed her things she had never dreamed of, with its vast array of programs in which singing played a major part. She saw these humans singing their hearts out for a man named Ed McMahon, hoping with all of their hearts that Ed would like what they heard. The Empress realized that she too could make people sing for her amusement. A 24-hour global star search, if you will, the likes of which Mr. McMahon had never seen. And so it was that on one dark day, the drones presented Bezeldra with the fruits of their gluttonous labor. The heavy honey the Empress had been waiting for. The potion that would fill her with the power to change the genetic structure of every human creature making them slaves to the stimulus of karaoke, forcing Earth to its knees with never-ending song. She drank. She felt the heavy honey coursing through her veins, felt the swelling build up awesome power within her. She let it build until it felt as if she would explode, threw her head back and let fly with a deafening wail that blasted forth from Atlanteope, through the surface of the ocean and outward to the 7 continents. The wave of mystical sound enveloped all the cities of Earth. One by one, the nations of the world fell to its power, and one by one, they all began to sing. One song to rule them all. One song to find them. One song to bring them here. And with karaoke, bind them. The world was completely under the thrall of the Empress. Everyone, no matter how young, how old, how rich, or how tone-deaf, began to sing as if their very lives depended on it. For indeed, their lives did depend on it. On land, mayhem was the ruler of the day. The streets were crowded with thousands of people singing a cacophony of popular songs. The once novel karaoke bars became veritable churches to these karaokeans, who would compete in singing contests for prizes and prestige. Portable karaoke machines brought subway and street performing to a whole other level. In short, no one cared for anything but karaoke, for they were hopelessly and utterly addicted. On the ocean floor, the Empress cackled as she contemplated her new rule over what would be now known as the planet Karaokalypse. But perhaps not everyone was addicted. For a small few, karaoke remained just a fun thing to do on weekends. These people were somehow immune to Bezeldra's song and were frightened by the mania that had overcome their friends and families. Each of them thought that they were the only ones unaffected and realized that resistance was futile. Their fear of being discovered led them to try and blend in with everyone else, to act as if they, too, were truly karaoke. Most were able to keep their secret effectively, but some of these pretenders were not so lucky. Those discovered were taken by the Empress's men and never heard from.